right? So
yeah, music. I decided in March of 2017 I was going to write a song. Now,
Mhm.
there's a group that I really admire called REM out of
Mhm.
Athens, Georgia.
Mhm.
They were poets, and then they learned how to play music later. So I'm thinking, oh, maybe there's a half a chance for me, because
Mhm.
I tried to learn guitar and I realized that's not my skill set. And in order to get the skill set, I'd have to be playing 10 to 12 hours a day. And I can't keep my writing and my art up and do all that. So I said, well, maybe I could write words and find some musicians that would help me. So I wrote a song about somebody's life, from their birth through their passing, and it's somewhat of a ballad. And I went and sourced it to. I have a lot of musician friends in the city of Phoenix, some that were with some very successful bands like Badlands. And I know a lot of cover musicians, and I took my song to all my friends, and every one of them said, well, you got words but you got no music. I can't work with
Okay. I think I know where you're going with this. So
that.
okay.
Yeah, so anyhow, I'm going like, okay, I can't play a musical instrument.
Right.
I've got a writing nobody wants to touch,
Okay.
and I've got a bucket list goal to
The
write a
perfect
song and have it.
combination, Jim. You got all the elements of success you just mentioned. Okay. Absolutely. Great start.
Yeah, I had the motivation. That's all I had. So I went and I tried to find a voice coach.
Okay.
So I says, the instrument I have is my voice. Despite the fact that I have a cold, I can sing okay. In church, nobody looks at me funny when I sing. And my wife says, your voice isn't half bad. So I went and got a voice coach. And he said, okay, let's do a test. And there's nothing worse than hearing your own voice when you sing for the first time. It's
I know the
mortifying.
feeling. I know the feeling here, but we get used to it like everything else. So, okay.
So I sang for a while, and he goes, well, why are you taking music lessons? Do you want to sing in a cover band? I said, no.
Mhm.
I said, I want to produce a song. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, I wrote one. I said, I got no music. I got no voice. I want to make it into something. So he says, I'll tell you what, I like the song. I've read it over. I can make something out of it. Came up with a tune, and we started working with GarageBand, which everybody starts with.
Mhm.
And we did some keyboards. We did some guitar. We took one of my guitars, which lay fallow right now, um, and started overdubbing it, and we started putting it into another piece of software called Logic Pro.
Mhm.
And so we could create tracks, and this isn't very clear, but you see guitar, you see background music, you see in the next slide a keyboard, and we were able to track the timing. We were able to add multi-tracks. We were able to tweak it to add organ. And this is where you start collaborating with the software. Software can take a tune, that's a simple piano tune, and say, well, turn it into a Hammond B3 Leslie organ.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know if you know much about it, but it has a Doppler effect and it sounds really cool.
Mhm.
And I added a piece of the piano and made it into an organ, and we did that. There are parts that were synthesizers. You could do that as well. You could go out and get Foley sounds. So the beginning of the song is about somebody coming to life. And there's some real ethereal sounds that we picked off of the sounds that planets make.
This is all about embellishments, Jim. I know where you're going with this, but where did you start with the original melody? You mentioned you did not have the one, right? You just had the lyrics.
Well, what we did is we went through a combination of chords.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we came up in if you listen to a lot of rock music, and it's going to be of the rock genre,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there are certain chord progressions
Yep.
that work together.
Sequences, right? Sequences that you can kind of work with.
Exactly. So we picked out a sequence that seemed to match the cadence of the words.
Okay. Okay. So you
Through
didn't have any,
trial and error.
right?
And then we put it on, you know, in GarageBand, and then eventually in Logic Pro, and started playing it and started adding new instruments and started adding, Foley sounds, like at the birth time, there's a baby sound. And then when you're young, there's a sound of a little child's piano. So, and then as you get into adulthood, there's people cheering you on. And then when you go into the work period, it gets real frenzied. Then there's a huge bridge, and, it goes down from there. And all songs have climaxes or crescendos. And so we've got that built in. So we're at the point where we're starting to mix all these tracks, deciding what kinds of instruments are going to be there. We can boil it down and, change it dynamically until we get what we want. And I've done the first test singing track. And, it's basically something that you start with and you work with using the lyrics, and the timing worked out, and the instrumentation with the singing worked out. And so we'll keep refining the voice track, and then we'll turn it over to a true engineer who will make sure that it's pleasing to the ear and that the right sounds come out the proper side. And as they phase from one side to another, all of that gets engineered. And so that's what we're working on next. I'm early in the process, but it's clear to me I'm a totally incompetent musician, but I can write words.
And
so the help
now, because what you described, this is what composers going through, right? Nobody writes what on paper anymore. I mean, many of them, right? The modern composers work with the software of their choosing. So this is fabulous. So where's AI in this? I mean, how do you get help?
Well, some of the effects are AI, some are algorithms. So if I want a certain Moog synthesizer sound, or I want a Hammond B3 organ Doppler effect, or if I want fading, AI and algorithms are involved. So there are sounds that are generated via AI that you can use. So let's say I let AI listen to my song. And let's say I let it listen to the music. At this point in time, there's things called extenders that will listen to the music, learn the style of the music, and generate new additional music. And these kinds of software have been put in front of expert composers, expert musicians, and they say it's wonderful. So we can start to see that that's happening.
Typically, right? Very to themselves. So you're saying if they complemented this new ability, that's fantastic. What about you? I mean, when you started hearing what machine is offering you, I mean, is it pleasing to your taste, to your sense of self?
Yeah, it was very, very nice. I have to say I'm taking more of a bit perspective, because I have a design for my song, and I'll take bits that I think the computer has done a really nice job, and I'm going to insert it here.
I'll take AI helping you, and you're helping AI, right? I mean, the final version, I'm sure, will be heavy edited by you as well.
It'll be more my producer, myself, and the engineer. Then it will be AI. But my song won't be fit for playing on stage with a huge, heavy band with deep bass and overwhelming drums and crazy bridges, because my song is going to be produced for a digital copy so people can download, pardon me, and use it. So if you're doing something like that, maybe this kind of software doesn't work. And the heavy end engineering. So I have a friend that just produced a brand new CD, and he doesn't want it to go digital because he's a bass player. He's very, accomplished. His drummer is very accomplished. His lead guitarist is very accomplished. His vocalist is very accomplished. If they dumb it down to where you can put it on software and have it go digital and not blow people's ears out with the ear pods, he doesn't want it. So it's not a question of money. It's the question of the quality isn't there. I mean, I just listened to a podcast with him explaining that to his, his past followers, because he was in a very popular band in the early 90s with an ex-Ozzy Osbourne lead guitar player named Jakey Lee. And the name of the band was Badlands. And his new Kings of Dust band is trying to emulate not so much Badlands, but trying to emulate the high intensity, loud, in your face, in your ears, kind of, experience. You're not going to get that from this. You're not going to get that from AI. You're not going to get that from human AI collaboration, but certainly the engineering tools can handle it. So I'm still learning this music stuff. I haven't produced anything that I'm 100% proud in yet, but when I do, you'll hear it.